Hello everyone, it's Rosemary and Simon O'Connor again. What's Rosemary Dugan? It's not Rosemary O'Connor. We're here for number 2 podcast, and today, well, last week we talked about NLP, which is about mindset. Now we're going to talk about a little bit more about mindset specific to looking at health and wellness, and like especially exercise, beginning exercise program and exercise adherence, looking at it from a long-term point of view. How you doing, Rosemary?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Excellent.
Excellent.
Good. All right, so the reason we're doing this today is and you might have experienced it, and the industry, when you look at the statistics, has definitely experienced it from a adherence rate. Exercise doesn't have a great track record, meaning that people tend to start and stop very, very quickly as well.
That's
okay,
right. Mm.
It's not outside of design that so many gyms will have special after Christmas programs or get fit for summer or whatever it might be. Or they made New Year's resolutions again. Let's cash in on that. But everyone we sign up, let's hope they don't show up, because we don't want a full gym. Because I tell you, it gets really awkward in here.
Yeah.
We'll take your cash, but if you could not show up, that would be great. So we're here to sort of help you work on your adherence, and it's not a physical thing a lot of the time. It's a mental thing. Well, that's my take on it. What do you think, Roger?
Exactly. No. Well, the thing is, a lot of people out there believe that they should lose weight, but they go in, they sign up to the gym and feel like, yes, I need to lose weight. The thing is, the reason they fall off the bandwagon is they don't have a why. So
Very true.
they need to know why they are aiming to do that. If it's for someone else, it usually doesn't, prolong the effort, and at some point they'll give up. But it's something that needs to be in you. You need to have a good enough reason why and follow that through. Because if you think, for health purposes or whatever, but if it's that important to you, it needs to be taking priority. Another reason is whether it's high on your priority list for your values as well. What do you feel is your top 3 or 4 values? If health and fitness is not up there, you're going to be falling off the bandwagon again because of that. So there is plenty of psychological reasons that people are motivated continually, and other reasons why people are.
Exactly, that's right. And the why, the reason can change. It's quite adaptable. You can say, and sometimes your why is simply like, why am I doing this? Is to launch pad myself onto like a harder or more intense program.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I love the fact is that we talk about setting goals and that sort of stuff, which we'll discuss a bit today.
Mm-hmm.
One of your first mental thoughts is simply like, the reason I'm doing this exercise is so I can make exercise a regular thing, a thing that I play priority to.
Yes.
I can focus on. I definitely can. You definitely want a goal if you want to be fitter, weight loss, strength, whatever. But if you are getting off the couch and you haven't thought about exercise for quite a long time, you've come in from a massive layoff period, maybe open the idea that the initial stages, like the first 4 weeks, is more about the fact that you just want to make exercise a regular part of your life, like eating, sleeping, getting changed, as opposed to those 4 weeks being about how much weight am I going to lose, how fit am I going to get, and then finding when you get on the scales a week after a session, nothing changed, or if the pants don't feel looser, or that you don't necessarily feel like you're being able to do more than you thought. Maybe just get to the approach like, I'm doing stuff to springboard my goals later on, but I'm not going to get there if I don't get through this first sort of hard yard stage.
Exactly. And the thing is that when people jump on board, they're just thinking of the end product, and you need to stop doing that. You need to, as they say, enjoy the journey. So enjoy every day being able to go into the gym or exercise, doesn't have to be in a gym, and making it a habit, a behavior, where, as you said, just sleeping or waking up and brushing your teeth, those are behaviors everyone does every day without us thinking about it. Nobody has to force us to do that. So they've got to get to a point where they're doing that with their exercise. So go and look at it as an opportunity to enjoy yourself. Don't worry about, am I going to lose 2 kilos by the end of this week or whatever, or am I going to be looking like this person, whoever you're aspiring to. Just think about it as, this is now part of my daily lifestyle. This is getting me healthier. I'm feeling better for it, and just stick with that.
Exactly, and that's fine. It's actually a good place to start. you sort of will get to a point where you go, oh no, I have to go for my walk. And it's like, oh no, well, you want to come and do this? Can we go do this first? Or, do you want to go to the movies, or do you want to go hit the pub, or whatever it might be? Like, oh yeah, I will, but I just want to do my walk first, or I want to do my exercises first. You want to, if you can get to that point, if you can spend the first few weeks training your mental side up to that point, then you'll find all those goals that you've been trying to attain from a physical point of view will be a lot easier. You've also got to set yourself up for success. Sometimes, when we used to teach, and we talked about I used to say to the students about clients that are going, so you're going to get someone who hasn't exercised for a very long period of time, and then they are going to come and see you 3 times a week at 6 in the morning, sometimes when the sun hasn't come up, when they usually would get up at 7, now they have to get up at 5, get themselves organised, come and see you, or hit a park or something like that, and train for an hour. So they're going to go from one extreme to the other. There's no transition period, and then you kind of wonder why in a month they're sort of dropping off and making excuses.
Exactly,
you know.
And it's about getting out of their comfort zone. You've got to initially keep things a little bit more realistic and easier, I think. Getting out of your comfort zone requires extreme change. And a lot of people might talk about it. There's people out there who, I want to be at this level in my career, or I want to make more money, or I want to buy this house, but they just talk about it. So initially, when you are going to the gym, you've got to say, all right, what do I have to do? You've got to look at the triggers that demotivate you and your strategies. So what stops you from going to the gym? Have a look at your patterns, have a look at your behaviors, because you will find that you do have them, even the thoughts in your head. And what you have to do is combat that. So like in NLP, I do what's called a strategy scramble with people. So everyone has a strategy to do everything in their lives. Even when we go shopping and buy something, we all have strategies. So once you find the strategy of how it's negatively impacting you, you can scramble it so that it disappears and it's not there anymore, and then you don't have a choice except to put into place some goals and strategies to be motivated. So that's one way of doing it.
Exactly, that's it. And interesting enough, if you look, there was a few studies that looked at people who maintained their exercise to those who dropped off, and they came up with some very, from a physical point of view, some very common aspects in regards to times, intensities, and modes of exercise.
Right.
And the most common method was just walking for around 20 minutes.
Yep.
And most of those people who stuck with exercise were able to do that initially for 3 to 4 or 5 days a week. Wasn't high intensity, wasn't high quantity, but it was regular.
Yes.
Exactly, it was regular, and it was a start.
Yeah.
And it didn't cost them a hell of a lot as well.
No.
Okay, so and we say that because sometimes, you go, right, if I buy the gym membership, because I've spent the money, I'll be motivated to go. Ironically, from a monetary point of view, money isn't the greatest motivator in the world. Ironically, if you're doing something that you love and then you start to get paid for it, and then you start to feel pressured to do it for the money, you start to not like what you're doing anymore. Similar, if you're spending out, it's if you're getting direct debit of, I don't know, $30 a week, whatever it might be, and it's not really hitting you financially that hard, you'll probably just let it go, and you're like, oh, I can't give up that gym membership because eventually sometime in the future I might go or not.
Yeah.
Ironically, if you just take that $30 and put it away in a piggy bank in the house somewhere you can't think of it, or put it into a separate account, and then you can spend it on a pair of shoes, and then you can get some start spending it on better eating, better money, get a nice pair of exercise shorts, tops, whatever it might be. Get yourself going in that respect, and then once it's a part of your routine and you find the 20-minute walk is just not hard enough, even though I'm doing it 5 days a week, it's it's still not intense enough. It's not enough. I've got to step it up.
Exactly.
You've got to that point, you can step up. Then we can think about getting the gym membership, doing the direct debits, all that sort of stuff.
Exactly. And I think you need to be passionate about what you're doing. You need to be enjoying it, because if you're not enjoying it, exercise when people are unfit is painful.
Exactly.
You're stressing your body. You're doing things that your body's not used to, and if not at the time you're doing it, a day or so later, you're going through a lot of agony because you're sore and you can't move, and that is the main reason a lot of people are put off as well, because all they can think of, nobody wants to be in pain. So they've got to start off with something that is easy, even if it's just playing a sport or walking on the beach or doing some form of activity. And all movement is physical activity. We've got to understand that. That's one reason. And because when you're passionate and you enjoy something, which is why a lot of the Zumba and those sorts of dance classes took off as well.
Yeah.
People didn't feel like they were working out. They were just having a lot of fun.
Exactly.
And it didn't matter if they were perfect or not, but their moves. But they were using up calories because they were moving. They were enjoying some music. Music's a great motivator as well. And so they were getting somewhere and finding that they were losing weight. So, you know, do something you're passionate about, but it's also got to come from inside of you. It's not something you should be doing for somebody else. You've got to be at a point where you're saying, I'm serious about this, I do need change, and getting out of your comfort zone and taking action is what's important, and not beating yourself up. A lot of people, if they miss a day or something, get really down on themselves, and you know, everyone's human, and I know a lot of professionals, including myself, sometimes there's a day where I think, you know, I can't be bothered working out today, but
exactly.
I will do something shorter, or even just go for a walk, but it's something. So people are a little bit too hard on themselves. When they change, they expect too much of themselves. So it's about taking the pressure off, making it more realistic, and like I said, living it as a lifestyle, not as a end goal, which is going to stop at some point. This is something that shouldn't stop. It should just continue for the rest of your life.
Exactly. And you hit on some very good points in the fact that, one, as you were saying before, you make it fun, and like the Zumba classes, one thing that gets people going back is there is a social aspect to it.
Exactly.
They know friends, they know the instructor. So if you are finding it hard to motivate yourself and you think, I'll train with a friend, that will work. And making it a social occasion, getting a group of friends who train, even if you don't train together, but you just need to be in the same vicinity, so you can sort of walk over a bit of a chin wag, get back to your sessions, or you do a circuit, or you do a class, and you're accountable on each other.
That's right. Exactly.
The only caveat I'll put on that, and the warning I'll put on that, if you go to the gym with Robbo, and Robbo one day says, I can't make it to the gym, okay, the truth is that's not an excuse that you can't go to the gym.
Yeah, but even if you can't go to the gym, what can you do at home?
Exactly.
You know, we don't need to have all the commercial equipment at home to be able to exercise. We all, you know, YouTube's on, and there's plenty of sort of at-home type of workouts that you could follow and do. So really, there is no excuse, but people will find an excuse.
Yeah, that's it.
And there are people out there who also like to self-sabotage. That's usually a whole different level of stuff, because it's something deep-seated and emotional. They get some sort of a self-gain by not achieving their goals.
Exactly.
So they tend to say, yes, I want to change, and they'll try to, but then they'll always go back to square one, because they're getting something out of it, whether it's empathy or, you know, whatever it is. I can't think of anything else at the moment, but they tend to want to always make excuses of why they can't, rather than trying to look at opportunities and understand why they should.
Exactly, that's right. Yeah, everyone likes to have a schedule for exercise, and I'm a big advocate of writing down programs and, you know, just having a bit of a track of how it's going. You don't have to be too super analytical, but as Roger said, if you can't make a session and you have to do that, you know, one odd thing at home, like the 20 minutes, and you would have gotten this if you've ever gone traveling, and the place you go to doesn't have the facilities you normally train at. They don't have a gym, or there's an adequate gym. You can still come up with something though, like 20 minutes or something.
There's stairs around places. There's parks, you know. I mean, take that lady who didn't want to go into the gym, and now she's making millions out of it. The clothesline lady who just walked around her clothesline and dropped all that weight. So now she didn't use an excuse. She was serious about what she wanted to do, and just, you know, the fact that she walked around a clothesline helped her to do so. If you're living in a house with stairs, use them. If, you know, even the bands and all the cheap equipment that you can get out at the sports stores, and just have them at home just in case.
Exactly. That's the thing, is like, the main thing is that you want to get started, make it a routine, challenge yourself, but make sure you set yourself up for success.
Yeah.
And as a fitness professional, I'm always like, okay, I would love to see you push it to the next step, to the next step, to the next step, you know. whether it be heavier weights or more complicated exercises or a more advanced program. That's the innate fitness professional in me to sort of keep
Yeah.
challenging, pushing the bar up. But if that's not your thing,
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. And I must admit, being a trainer, starting off when I was a kid, back when I was 18, I was super judgmental watching people exercising and what are they doing? What kind of exercise is that? Look at this guy, he's been here for 2 hours and he's just chatting to his friends. He's done a bit of exercise here, a bit of exercise there. Now, being a bit older, I'm like going, well, if the choice was to do that or not be here, to do that or sit at home, watch TV, to do that or to, drink yourself into oblivion, eat yourself stupid,
Yeah.
then I'm definitely pushing with that.
Exactly.
So as opposed to being judgment, maybe given like a thumbs up, sort of like well done. So so basically, if they're not motivated but they're still showing up, you need to, as a trainer, tap into how they're doing that, because motivation, as I said, is can be very fleeting. It doesn't last as long, but there are certain times where you go, right, I'm not motivated to train, but I am going to train. I was like, how do they do that? And I think we've talked about previously, Rosemary, how you said if you aren't motivated and it's consistently you're feeling lacking motivation to go, you might want to take a bit of time off.
Exactly. Yeah, because I think if you keep on feeling, not motivated and you're forcing yourself to do something, you can end up hating doing it. So, it's very sort of a thin line, because some people think, okay, I'm here, it's good, even though I wasn't motivated. But if you keep on pushing yourself, you're going to start to put this negative connotation on what you're doing. And every time you need to go, you'll start to anchor that feeling of, I don't really want to go, but I have to force myself to.
Exactly.
So sometimes it's okay to just take the time off and not go. It's fine. Relax, do whatever you have to, and then you've always got the next day to start over again. And people tend to forget that. They always try to put themselves in linear patterns with weeks and months, and I have to stick to this program. Just take each day as it comes. And you will find that if you take this pressure and off yourself of having to stick to a very strict schedule, that things will become easier. You won't be so hard on yourself. You won't feel so guilty, and you might actually enjoy the process a lot more.
Exactly. And you can plan for that as well. If you know that things are getting in the way, if holidays come up, if work becomes a bit of a nightmare, you can plan for that. So you can block out. So, right, I've got the kids' holidays coming up. I've got 6 weeks before that. So I'm going to have a good, solid 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But then I'm going to take that time off to spend with the kids or to spend with the family, what it might be.
Yeah.
So you can actually plan for that downtime, okay, as opposed to, so you have a good, solid 6 weeks that give you a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. That doesn't mean that you stop completely. It means you have that little break. You reduce the chance that your level of mental and physical staleness. You have that bit of a break. Your body's going to be quite honest, from a physiological point of view, you'll probably find you actually get more benefits because you have more recovery time, more mental recovery time as well. And then when that break's over, then boom, we start to ramp it up and hit the gym again. Okay?
Exactly. And the thing is that you can always get back on the bandwagon,
Exactly.
So just because you take some time off, if you're taking time off for holidays or whatever, enjoy it. I mean, people go away on holidays and there's several things you could do to still keep your fitness up, walking around and swimming and all sorts of things. So don't always keep it so centered on, going to the gym and having a strict program. Just, you need to enjoy life. That's what we're here for.
Exactly.
And fitness is not part of your life to disable you from doing that in any way. It should all sort of combine, because we're looking at your emotional health, your mental health, your spiritual health. So it should all be working and looking after the next thing. So keep it well-rounded, keep it realistic, and keep it simple.
Exactly. And NLP takes like a different view of SMART goals?
Yeah, the SMART goals. So the usual ones we talk about are, S for specific, then you've got measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. In NLP, we say keep it simple, keep it meaningful to you, which is extremely important. Keep it as if now, so that you can do it now. And keep it responsible and ecological, so you're not hurting anyone or, upsetting the apple cart for anyone else. Whatever you do is for you. And also keep it toward what you want. So it has to be what you want, not what anyone else wants.
And as I said, like Rosemary said, those things are malleable. You know, I don't know about being wishy-washy and jumping from one idea to the next. And we used to get clients all the time. I want a bit of fitness, and I want a bit of fat loss, and I want a bit of build muscle here, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, you know, maybe we should target one or two, get a little bit more concrete with everything. But over time, it's malleable because your goals might change. You might be like, you know, the stuff that I thought was important isn't as important as it used to be.
No,
You know what
and
I
I
mean?
think that's the thing that, you know, with younger people, they seem a little bit rigid when it comes to their fitness and wellness goals, and because they don't know any better. I think as you get older, you start to realize that there are other things that are important. Yes, our fitness, definitely, our wellness, definitely, and our health, but it's not the be all end all, and it has to be a part of our daily routine and living, because if that is all we're focusing on, and we're, you know, beating ourselves up in the gym every day and not worrying about anything else, and there's nothing else involved, well, that's not living.
There's no balance.
There's no balance.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
it's all about you, and you tend to, you know, you look at people on rigid programs, their families come second because they're just in there worrying about what they're going to eat, and, you know, what the next program is and how much they're going to lift. And I'm not putting these people down. Some of them are doing it for a reason and have a end goal as well. But what I'm saying is, for the average person to get on board with fitness and health, we have to educate them about how it's going to work into their lives. And that's the secret, how it works into their lives.
Exactly.
Not the other way around.
How we can make this an opportunity, we can make it positive, and it's not a punishment. I think, look, growing up in the 80s, and sometimes when you look at how I've used exercise in the past, and a lot of people would have the sort of similar experience with exercise, like, oh, you've been punished at physical education at school, run a lap of the oval. You came late to class, do 20 push-ups. Your phone went off in class, and it's like, I utilize teaching to people that exercise is good and it's an opportunity, and, you know, we should utilize it as an opportunity, and then finding out that then utilizing it as a punishment. It sort of sends mixed messages, and people would have gotten that as they were growing up, like that phys ed teachers would have used exercise, or coaches would have used exercise as a form of punishment.
Yeah, so don't use it as a threat. And I mean, even when you're training people, don't use it as a threat. You know, oh, if you don't do this properly, I'm going to give you 20 push-ups or something. And
that's it.
because all of a sudden you are looking at it from a negative point of view. So it's very silly. As much as people think it's a joke, it's subconsciously you're taking on, you know, this negative perspective of it.
Exactly. And I must admit, one time I saw a trainer who was taking, I think, squats with their client, and they said, we're going to keep doing these until you get them right. And I was like, it doesn't physiologically work that way. Fatigue, when it sets in, almost makes it virtually impossible for a technical skill to maintain get better. We don't get better as we get fatigued, we get worse. So you might be coming at a different approach there.
Yeah.
Look, we'll finish up there. Just the one thing I wanted to, if you're going to take away anything from this podcast, from my perspective, is your initial starting an exercise or getting back into exercise. This might help, but having a mindset of, look, the exercise you're currently doing is setting you up for exercise plan later. Really, what you're doing now in the initial stages is making it a psychological goal to get through the next 3 to 4 weeks, to your goal being that you're going to do it regularly, that you're going to make it part of your lifestyle, that you're going to give it a priority to at least a level that you would not feel bad, I hate that word, but you would miss it if you didn't do it. That you couldn't just blow it off without even giving it two thoughts, as opposed to worrying about the physical outcomes, the health benefits and that sort of stuff. You know, really think about, look, I'm just going to do something very simple. I'm going to do something very regular, and I'm going to organize it so that I'm setting myself up for my physical goals down the track. Because if you don't get past that stage and you don't set yourself up from a mindset point of view, you're going to find that drop off is too easy to do. So set yourself up for success. Set yourself up with an exercise program that you know that you can continue on with, that you can complete, that you can enjoy as well. Okay. To the trainers, I would suggest do a bit of more. Don't be afraid to do some reading into proper behavior change techniques and methodologies. If you really want your clients to achieve their goals and you want them to stick around, and you're not addressing that side of it, and you're just addressing the physical side, you're probably going to find your attrition rate's going to be huge. And it's not drop-off rate like, I don't want to do it. It's drop-off rate because all my excuses got in the way, and now I've just let it go by the wayside. You know? So that would be
yeah.
my takeaway, my very long-winded takeaway just there.
Yeah, and I think that also, you know, if you are having problems with trying to make change, there's through NLP sessions, you can remove obstacles, because a lot of it is emotional and or in your subconscious. There might be something that's stopping you or preventing you from keeping up or committing long term. So, you know, there's several things I can do. So people can always get in touch and we can have a chat and get them mentally ready before they can start to throw themselves into a healthy lifestyle.
Beautiful. All right, guys, so we'll finish up there. If please click the subscribe button. Feel free to share this with your friends, and we'll put all the our contact details down below again. Hey, throw some comments in there. Tell us what you think. If you want to add anything on there, if you even think there are certain areas that we maybe missed that we should have discussed. But hopefully you enjoyed today's podcast. We will catch you all later. Rajmi, thanks for today.
Thank you, and see you later.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.